Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for this is part 3 for 2023. We're gonna just see what is going on in your houses 9 through 12, and in your ninth house, which is the house of travel, wisdom, higher learning, things like that. You have this Come to the Edge card. The Come to the Edge card literally represents kind of a point in your life where you need to push yourself to, the places where you normally maybe give up in life, and you need to push yourself a little bit farther. It also kind of, again, the ninth house has to do with education, and it's kind of like saying to me that, one of the quickest ways to get over a fear is to learn about it. Once you learn about something that you are afraid of, and you know what you're dealing with, then you might learn that things aren't as scary as they seem. It's like I think of people who are afraid of snakes. It's like when you learn that snakes are kind of not dangerous and they just want to get away from you, then maybe they're not as scary as you think they are. And I kind of have that popping into my head. But maybe it's not snakes. Maybe it's putting yourself out into the world. Maybe it's getting attention on your business, whatever it is for you. I kind of feel like you just need to push yourself into places where maybe you're just a little bit uncomfortable this year, but guess what? If you do that, then that's where all your success is going to come from. I truly feel that for you here, Taurus. So I'd learn as much as you can. You have the King of Cups, the Seven of Wands, and the King of Wands. The King of Cups to me can be a card of travel, by the way. This is not accurate tarot, but the King of Cups to me is a card of the home. There are some cards in the tarot that I personally use as clue cards. One of those is the King of Cups. To me, he's the card of the home, like where you live or whatever. And so basically, he can represent travel or moving. And, it wouldn't surprise me if some of you were traveling or moving at this time. I also see this as like people that you can trust. I have the word people popping into my head. It's not like this is one person. I feel like this is kind of like something that you're discovering about your relationships. I'm talking about all relationships, but it's almost like you're looking at people deeper. Again, this isn't necessarily a ninth house thing, but I read intuitively. That's what I'm getting here. I feel like you're looking at people and saying, like, what can I learn from this person? This could just be every single person that you meet, right? And that's a great place to come from because, I believe that everyone pretty much has something to teach us, but I feel like you're actually doing it. Most people say, oh, that's a nice thing to do. But I feel like you're actually doing that with that card. You have the Seven of Wands here. I feel like you're more sure of yourself this year as well with this card. This is a card of kind of conviction. It's a card of knowing that you know that something is going to be successful. Again, the ninth house has to do with wisdom. It is the house of wisdom. So I feel like you have more than enough wisdom and knowledge to be very successful at this time. So I would go out there and, learn as much as you can. And you have the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a card of being bold, being assertive. So I really feel that you need to kind of like charge towards things that you desire to have at this time. And again, you're going to have to be bold and assertive. I really feel this ninth house, this first position here, is really just talking about learning about things that you're afraid of. Because again, once you learn, I feel then there's going to be nothing to be afraid of. Look, with the King of Cups, you have this risk card. So, this year, I do feel this year has some risk, but not in a bad way. I just think that there are, maybe there are some calculated risks that you could take that would make you more successful. Could be like the risk of exposure, the risk of putting yourself out into the world, the risk of getting attention, whatever. With the Seven of Wands, you have this Discovery card, literally a card of travel in the house of travel. So I feel for those of you that want to travel or move, there could be a lot of success. It is a number 9. It's kind of interesting as well. I literally feel there's something like new coming in for you as well. I think like everything you want, I said this back in, I don't know, like 2020 now. I was saying that everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before. And I truly feel that here with this energy, that everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before. With the King of Wands, you have this convention card. I would avoid convention. I feel like everybody needs to avoid being conventional. Convention is the way things have always been done. And, I would just open up to kind of like new ways of doing things, and I would learn about new ways of doing things. Next, in your 10th house of career, you have the Electric Eel Spirit. It says, bring your ideas to life. This is amazing. The 10th house has to do with like long-term goals as well. And so some of you I really feel this house is talking about your long-term goals and things that you want to create. And I feel this is saying like things are, there could be a lot of electricity in the area of long-term goals for you or in the area of the things that you create. And I would get moving on those things. You have the Six of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Page of Swords. It's like you're looking over here towards the King of Wands. And I feel like you want to be successful. It's like, I almost feel like the King of Wands could be an energy that you are excited by or an energy that you would love to embrace. This, very courageous, bold, confident energy. And this Page of Swords looking over to that. And the Page of Swords is also the card of curiosity. Not only that, we see here with the Six of Pentacles that experimenting and trying new things, I feel, would be extremely beneficial for you. Six of Pentacles is a card of planting seeds. It's a card of kind of like trying something, seeing what works. It's also a card of cause and effect as well, where you put a little bit of energy into something, then you pay attention to the energy that you get back for what you put in. So I think that it would be a great year for you, especially in career or business or whatever it is that you want to do, for you to like plant some seeds, see what grows, and then nurture what grows. Again, this is kind of like a card of, taking a shotgun approach to the things that you're doing. Try a bunch of things, see what works, and then keep working on the things that work. You also have the Ace of Cups here. And I do feel like your emotions could be overflowing this year. A lot of happiness coming in your career or in business. Even if you're retired, you could still have some, long-term goals, some things that you want to achieve. And so I feel for a lot of you that you could be achieving some things, or you could be working towards some long-term goals that could be bringing a lot of fulfillment into your life. I also do feel for those of you that want love, we talked about love in the other parts of these readings, but I do feel there could be love coming in from work for some of you. So if you have work, if you have a career, then that could definitely be where you find love. With the Six of Pentacles, here you go. You have this influence card, but I feel two things here for you, Taurus. Number one, what I would say is there definitely could be love coming in through work. So in work or career for some of you. For others, I feel, and how crazy is it that I said snake at the beginning of the reading, and you have the snake right here. But the other thing is I think you need to be careful. I feel like you need to not allow people to influence you this year. It's like you might have some ideas, some goals, some wishes, some plans, some things that you want to do. I was just like, I made some comment about AI the other day in one of my videos, and someone was like, "Oh, is it even worth me having a business? Because if AI is going to take over," I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not there yet. You still have plenty of time before it gets to the point where that might be an issue." So it's like, do what, and maybe it'll never happen. So, it's like, I don't think we should be living that far into the future. Although your next card basically says, learn new things. It will help you in the future. But what I would say here is, like, don't allow other things to influence you. I feel like you need to follow your feelings here is what this is saying, Ace of Cups. With the Ace of Cups, you have this appreciation card. I literally feel this is saying, appreciate how you feel about things. This is going to be very important, not just in career, but again, for anything long-term. The 10th house, again, is your long-term goals, your long-term vision. So that could be anything. It doesn't have to be work. It could be, pretty much anything that you want to commit to in your life for a long period of time. And I feel like appreciating your feelings is what this is talking about. When we listen to ourselves, when we listen to how we feel about things and don't allow others to influence us with that influence card, and we just see how things work for us, that's where we find success. It's like, look at most of the most successful people on earth. Did they become successful like anyone else? No, because they're the only ones that have done it. So what I would say is, if you're trying to be successful and you're like, just copying everyone else, you're going to be just like everyone else. I feel like this reading is saying you need to be like you. You need to be like Taurus. So what do you feel you should do? And again, I think this is a hard thing for you because there's nothing to compare, your future success to. I truly believe that, basically, Taurus. There's nothing to, I think that there's no, it's not like, if you're starting a business this year, if you're trying to grow your business or whatever, I don't think there's anything to compare it to. You're going to have to figure it out on your own with the Six of Pentacles. But cause and effect, pay attention to that, and you'll be successful. With the Page of Swords, you have this Lust card. I do feel like someone has their eye on you in work or business. So if you have a job or a career, it could be in work or business. There's definitely a person. It could be a fire sign. You have a lot of fire kind of standing out to me in your reading. Even just these first two clarifications here, a lot of these fire sign cards. So, I guess it wouldn't surprise me if it was a fire sign. Next, in your 11th house, you have the celebration card. I love it. The 11th house has to do with your community, so really good time for celebrating with people around you. It says there will be a celebration in relation to your work. Love it. As you see more success, don't use that excuse to stop having fun. Keep having fun. Learn new things. It will help you in the future. Again, I'm a big fan of learning, especially right now. The 11th house is also the house of the future. So I would be learning as much as you possibly can about the things that you do. And again, I know everybody's worried about AI and all this other stuff. This is going to become a big thing over the next 20 years or so, because we have Pluto and Aquarius, literally AI, right? So it's like, if you're worried about that or anything else that could be happening, again, it's just part of the astrology. And, again, if you learn about it, you'll probably be more successful than ever. I'm also getting something about a chain reaction here is like popping into my head. I even when I read this, I thought it said something about a chain reaction. It doesn't, but I feel for some of you, it's almost like there could be a celebration, or you're having a win in work or career, like this says. It says in relation to your work. Maybe you're being celebrated or you're getting attention in work. And this, and you have the Empress coming up in the next row, so it kind of makes sense to me. And I feel like the celebration is almost something that gives you confidence, or I don't know. It's like you're being given confidence here. Look, Queen of Swords. I almost feel like this is you. This is really you, the Empress, but I almost feel this is you at the time of you watching this video. When this happens, when this chain reaction in your life happens, I feel like you're going to see yourself as the Empress like that you are. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you are. And I feel this leads to a major change in your life here, Taurus. Kind of like a weird feeling I have. It's also really weird that, as usual for you, it's like I tried to separate these rows out by the houses. That was the whole point of doing these readings like this. But it's almost like I feel like your reading is all together. I feel, could it be talking about these houses? Sure. But, I feel like it's talking about a lot more than just 9 through 12 in astrology. I think it's talking about, a lot more that's going on in your life right now, or that will be going on in your life this year. So we're just going to go with it. But again, I feel like there's like a chain reaction. Something gives you confidence. Maybe you get some attention from like an important person. I see that happening for some of you, especially in work. If you have work or business, or if like you're on YouTube, or if you have a podcast or something like that. This could also be in love as well. You could be getting attention from a person that you like, and it could just be creating this positive kind of like chain reaction in your life. You have the Two of Wands here as well. Here's the thing, is that the 11th house has a lot to do with groups as well. So if you want to be a leader, if you want to lead a group, if you want to start a group or anything like that, now is the time, because this is a card of leadership. It is a card of taking the lead, getting out into the world. He has the whole world in his hands. You have the world right here. So Taurus, I feel like there are opportunities for you to get attention, for you to take the lead, especially if you're working with groups of people. If you have a business and you're not working with groups of people, I would try to work with groups of people. Or it's like, even in work, how can you affect more people, or how can you join a bigger group? These are the questions I'd be asking, especially if you're like trying to get a different job. If you already have a job and it's fine, then, I think you're perfectly fine. There's no reason to quit or anything. That's not what I'm saying. If you're looking for a job, I would be looking for something that involves groups of people, or that, maybe you can work together as a group. I think those things will be really, really good for you. You Earth signs always get these messages of kind of like co-creation or working together with other people, and I think it, could be very beneficial for you. With the Queen of Swords, you have this romance card. I'm telling you, there's definitely love coming in for those of you that want it. Again, the whole point of this section of the readings was not love. These aren't really love houses. 10th house can kind of have to do with marriage and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like all the houses can apply to love in some way, but that wasn't my original intention. But it does seem like there could be a person who's coming in for you here. If you don't want love, again, I do feel that this reading, you have the King of Cups, which is kind of like your heart. You have the Ace of Cups, which is your heart. So I feel like some of you need to do more heart-based stuff, which I feel like I say more to you all the time. Like, what does your heart tell you to do? With the Two of Wands, you have this companionship card. I mean, it's turning into a love reading at this point, but, it is what it is. So there definitely could be a companion. But again, there's multiple people on this card. So like I said, if you're like thinking about starting a group, joining a group, any of those things, I feel there could be a lot of success for you here. It's really surprising to me as well because, I feel like some of you could also be in a position where you are very surprised that you're attracting love. Like maybe you just don't want it. Maybe you're just not expecting it, whatever. And I feel like there could just be love coming in for you. I would also say like if you're moving or traveling, maybe this is where you discover love in your life. And, again, I feel like even if you don't, it's kind of funny because I am getting that for some of you. Obviously, it's not going to be true for all of you. If you don't want love, you don't want love, that's fine. But, again, for some of you, I feel like it's just like nice. It's like maybe you're totally not expecting it. Maybe you totally don't want it. But when it shows up, maybe you want it, right? And I'm kind of getting that for some of you. But again, I'm also getting something about groups here. You're definitely I feel like you're stepping more into a leadership role as well, in work or in career or something like that. And I feel like there's just going to be so many reasons to celebrate. I feel like there's like a lot of abundance. Even right here on this appreciation card, there's a cornucopia right there on the card. And the cornucopias kind of represent abundance. So, I don't know, your abundance looks really good this year. And you end with the Empress. Can't beat that. With the World card, you have this choice card. Yeah, again, some of you, I feel like you have a choice. Maybe you're like, do I want love? Do I even want to invite this into my life? You have a lot of Libra showing up in this reading as well. This card here is Mars in Libra. So definitely an action that needs to be taken, making a decision. But she's holding a scale right there, just like Libra. So again, I'm telling you right now, I think cause and effect is going to be very, very important for you this year, especially if you're, for some of you, you could just have a job where you're doing like a lot of testing or a lot of trying things or doing things differently. If you're trying to start a business or if you're trying to start a side hustle or something, I would be testing as much as you possibly can because that's what looks like is going to be very successful for you. Finally, here in the area of the 12th house, you have this mature woman. Again, it doesn't matter what gender you are. I feel whenever I get these people cards like this, to me, it's just you, the person I'm reading for. So whatever gender doesn't matter. You also have this courthouse card here. The 12th house is the house of endings. It's a house of like closure, things that are hidden enemies, stuff like that. But I kind of feel like some of you could be wrapping up a legal situation if you are dealing with a legal situation. If you're not dealing with a legal situation, I just feel that, again, this is more of that kind of like Libra energy, talking about balance or talking about really paying attention to equal give and take. You have the Empress, the Four of Swords, and the Three of Swords. I do feel some of you need to take some time to heal with the Three of Swords. Again, the 12th house has to do with health, and I would just make sure that you stay healthy at this time. A couple of people have had messages of like kind of needing to make sure. Again, I am not a doctor. I want to stress that, so do not take this as medical advice. I have no clue what I'm talking about, but I would just make sure to stay healthy. I would do all the things that you do to stay healthy. We have Saturn going into Pisces. That's all I have to say about that. I like Saturn and Pisces for the most part because Neptune is also in Pisces, which could bring, help us bring some of our dreams down to earth, which I think is true for everyone. But, definitely the earth signs are definitely going to be affected by Saturn and Pisces. And, what I would just say is it's like, what hidden things, not in your life, I'm talking about globally. It's like, are there any hidden things that could magically come to light? I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm putting my tinfoil cap on here, right? And I have no clue what I'm talking about. Don't come for me, Illuminati. But, I don't know. It's interesting. I'll put it that way. Just stay healthy. You have the Four Swords. Four Swords, a card of recovery. So, again, some of you could be healing. 12th house is the house of healing. So, I do feel you could be going through a healing or recovery. I also feel that some of you could be receiving blessings, which we see right here, the Empress. I almost feel like this is what you're turning into. You're turning into this much more confident, much more sure of yourself type of energy. And I feel it's leading to a lot of abundance in your life. It's a pretty simple reading, Taurus. Again, I feel like there's some sort of event that happens this year. And again, I'm not trying to be mysterious. I think it's pretty simple. I think it's either an important person says something to you, like points something out to you. It's almost like a boss could come to you and say like, hey, you're really good at doing X, Y, and Z, and maybe they like give you a new position, for example, but it creates all this abundance. Maybe it's almost like someone is recognizing something in you. For others, I feel like you're just recognizing the skill in yourself. Again, if you are in the public eye or something like that, maybe all of a sudden you get a bunch of attention on something that you're doing. And again, I think that's the event that could, cause you to glow up, basically, is what it looks like to me. Let's see. With the Empress, here you go. Are you kidding? You have this health card. I'm not even kidding. Multiple people have had this health card in the last row. So, I don't know, but I would just stay healthy. I do feel like it is a good card, this card. So, I do feel like you will stay healthy, and it's coming up on the Empress. So that makes perfect sense to me. I do also get pregnancy here. Some of you could be getting pregnant this year if you want to. With the Four of Swords, you have this enthusiasm card. I feel like there's just a lot of reasons to be happy. It is a much better year, I think, this year. I don't think anything that crazy is going to happen. There's going to be craziness, but, I don't know. But what I would say here is I would follow your enthusiasm. The whole entire reading basically said you need to follow your good feelings, right? With the Three of Swords, you have this intuition. Trust your intuition. I would be careful of past people. I do feel like I would protect your emotions as well because I do feel, remember what I was saying about how it's almost like you're looking deep into people. I almost feel that you're kind of really seeing, I don't know that you're really seeing who people are. I think that's part of it, but I feel like you're maybe understanding some things about people that make you kind of a little bit sad or something. Sometimes I think we have realizations about people who are important to us, and maybe we're like, oh, this person's a liar, or maybe they do something that disappoints you. It's not like you're disowning people. I think you're just, seeing certain sides of human nature, let's put it that way. And I feel like it's just having you maybe look at certain people in a different light, right? And, I would trust your intuition is what I would say here. You have this pineapple card. It says reconciliation on it. I don't think there's anyone coming back from the past for you. I feel like this is talking about money that's owed to you. If you are owed money, some of you, this could be karma as well. I feel like there's reconciliation as in you're receiving something that you have been owed for a long time. Love it. You have this moon card. It says change in your life. It actually says changes in your life. So definitely some big changes coming in for you. You have this tent. It says temporary situation. Yeah, I see you moving. I feel like some of you could be moving or traveling. So it's maybe you're staying somewhere temporarily and then you're moving somewhere else or something like that. And yeah, I don't know. I think you'll be fine. You have this dark man. It could be a man or a woman. Whenever I get these people cards, I always clarify them. It says dealings or relationships with a man with dark complexion or hair. And you have the seahorse that says family matters. If you're meeting a person, could be meeting a darker person, who you have a family with or something along those lines. Or it could be a person you have a family with right now. You also have this love card, which is hilarious because this whole entire time I was like, oh, this is like a love reading, even though I was trying to avoid that with houses 9 through 12. But here we are, Taurus. If you want love, there's definitely love. If you don't want love, that's fine too. Even if you do want love, again, I feel the main focus here as well is the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is just, something that you could do with your life, even if you're retired. People are always like, I'm retired. I'm like, wait, would you sit around all day? Probably not. You probably do stuff. So it's if you do things, make sure that the things that you do are Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups are the things that cause you to overflow. They are the things that you could do endlessly every single day. I don't care if it's coloring in a coloring book. What is it for you? Doesn't matter. I would do more of those things. Again, people always say oh, I can't make money coloring in a coloring book. I'm like, I guarantee you, there is a YouTube channel that makes money about coloring books. I promise you it exists. So number one, there are ways to make money doing whatever you want to do. I don't care what it is. Number two, it's not about that. And I'm not saying you have to color in a coloring book all day long, but we need to get more of this energy flowing. When we do these things, we're creating this right here. Okay, and we need to do more of that. My dog's coming downstairs. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your year.